Hey ladies and gentlemen, it's Josh here, and we're teaching you and taking you through this low back routine. So like the other videos that you may have seen now, these videos are designed for you to do these with me. So before we start, it would be ideal to get yourself a knuckly roller, set yourself up with a mat somewhere in this area, ideally next to this squat rack if the gym's not too busy, and you'll see why. And then also, it may be helpful to have a broomstick, and it may be helpful to have a kettlebell as well. But during this routine, if you don't have that equipment, it's probably better for you just to pause the video, just wander over, grab your kettlebell, come back. But for the speed of the video, I've got all these. So we're actually going to be addressing people with a tight low back, which is a very common part of a very common challenge that most people have, because if you think about it, where our ribs are, between the ribs and the hips, there's actually no bone there, so we tend to actually accumulate a lot of tension here. So if you ever watch someone or watch yourself, you can film yourself from side on doing a back bend, you can notice that we generally tend to bend more at this low back portion as opposed to the entire thoracic section. So if you think about the spine is like a slinky, you'd want more of an even slinky bend rather than just one major kink. So what we're actually going to be addressing is finding ways to kind of not only loosen up the tension here, but more importantly, open up this area here as well. And to do that, we need to get our ribs going. So our first position is going to be a child's pose with deep breathing. So child's pose, we're just going to sit down on our ankles, and we want to make sure our hips are as far back as we can go. And then when we get into this position, the goal is actually to have what we call flexion, a lot of rounding in this section of the spine, because we're looking to create space between that vertebra. So in this child's pose position, hopefully I'm not breathing into the mic, but the goal here is just to do some deep breathing. So we're going to do 5 deep breaths. So we're going to start with one big inhale, bit of a hold at the top, and the nice long slow exhale. And when you get to the bottom of your breath, keep squeezing. Inhale. The goal is to get the ribs moving, remember? Hold at the top. And exhale. Keep squeezing. 3 to go. Inhale. Hold. And exhale. Keep squeezing. 2 more. Inhale. Hold, exhale. Keep squeezing. Inhale. Hold, and exhale. Now, if you wish to do 5 more, you can just do 5 more reps, pause the video. I'm just going to do 5 and 5 and 5, which means our next position is we're going to walk our hands over to the side. So if you imagine front on is 12 o'clock, we're moving to around about like our 2:30 kind of position. And then we're going to do the same thing, 5 more breaths, and really try and get the ribs moving as we inhale. So we're going to inhale and exhale. Inhale, hold at the top, and exhale. Inhale, hold, and exhale. Inhale, hold, and exhale. Remember, as you inhale, search for more tension points in the body as well. Inhale, hold, and exhale. Now, I apologise, I've been so relaxed I've lost count, so I'm thinking that's 5. If that's 4, please do 1 more. We're going to walk over to the other side and do it 5 more. Hopefully, I really hope I did 5. All right, same again. Inhale, hold, and exhale. Inhale, hold, and exhale.
Inhale. Hold. And exhale. Inhale. Hold. And exhale. One more to go. Inhale. Hold. And exhale.
All right, now I feel amazing. I hope you do too. So that's just start to get the ribs moving, which will take the tension off the spine that's kind of holding us in this hunch position, because then when our ribs are locked up, that forces this part of the spine to try and work more. So now we've done that, you can either come to a squat rack, or you can actually get a broomstick and kind of do the same thing. We're going to do some lateral bending, but I'm going to use a squat rack because it's going to be a bit more stable. So the far leg, the outside leg, is the leg that we're going to want to have down. And so what I'm trying to do here is I'm grabbing this squat rack here to try and push myself that way. And I'm going to lean like up and over, and I'm looking to create a bend and stretch all through this part of the body, and then I can use this to kind of like wrench myself and push myself into it, and finding that tension point where whatever stretches you the best. And we're going to do 5 breaths again. So here we go. In this position, we're going to inhale and exhale. We're not going to be as meditative this time as well. We're just going to get straight through it. Inhale and exhale. That's 2. Inhale. Exhale. 2 more. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Beautiful. Swap sides. Far leg is the straight one. And it's good to kind of practice like getting your hand in position and reaching over. Again, you could just swap that for a broomstick if you needed to. Into this position, looking for that rib cage like tension. Same thing again, 5 breaths. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. 2 to go. Inhale. Exhale. 1 more. Inhale. And exhale. Beautiful. So we should start to have our spine should really feel like it can kind of pick itself up a little bit more, and we should actually about to feel that our ribs are relaxed. And just generally, you should just feel a lot more calmer as well. So now that we've done that, we're going to do a bit of foam rolling now to get into the muscles. These hip flexors can tend to get quite tight. So we're going to do an exercise called the Hip Flexor Shear. And so if you think about the hip crease, if I fold my knee, there's going to be this fold here. So I'm going to place this roller in this position. I'm going to do one side, and then I'm going to do the other side. So I'll face this way, and I'm going to put it on my right hip. And so I've got the roller right in that hip crease. And then instead of rolling up and down, which is what we tend to be doing, what we're going to do instead is we're going to kind of plant this foot and plant this hand, and we're going to turn out. So I'm going to kind of face and point my whole torso on the hips sideways, and then I'm going to roll that way. And so we're just going to hang here for about 10 to 15 seconds, and we're just going to kind of pulse in and out. And so I'm moving reasonably fast as I do this because I actually love doing this. I do this quite regularly, so I'm not super sensitive to this. But if you are someone that is feeling a lot of sensitivity in this position, slow it down, take your time. It's more about spending time in this position rather than kind of repping it out. It's more about just spending time searching for those points where there might be a little bit more tension here. We can kind of wiggle into there a little bit more. Or if you roll more forwardly inward, you might find you have more tension there. So for me, I'm just shearing. I'm just going left and right, left and right. For you, it may just be pausing on a certain position. So just going to hang here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. I'm going to swap sides. I'm going to put this roller on this side now. I'm going to get my hip in this position. Same again. So now I'm kind of talking to the wall now because it's going to hurt my neck if I try and look at the camera. So same thing. We're just going to pulse in and out. Now for me, it's actually quite tighter on my left side, which is, it is actually normal for me. It's actually normal for most people to actually experience a tighter side. It's based on who we are and how we're designed as Homo sapiens and how we live our lives. We're always going to be dominant on one side. You know, we could be left leg dominant, right hip, left hand, right hand. Oh, well, I've got a real tight spot in here, so for me, I'm just going to go and hang in this spot for a bit. If anyone knows anatomy, that's my TFL. Not a happy chappy. I think it's because I just went for a big run, so I'm actually pretty happy to be doing this mobility video for you guys, because it means that I get some extra mobility if I'm rolling in. All right, in here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Oh. All right, I'm going to push our foam roller to the side now, so you should feel like you've had this junction just a little bit more, like kind of loosen up. So we're now going to go into a hip flexor stretch. So when we stretch our hip flexors, that's kind of these muscles here. They're called hip flexors because they create hip flexion, which is this hip joint closing. And so we're not looking to kind of like crank ourselves into a back bend. We're actually looking to kind of create forward pressure through this line here, which is why a bit of a butt tuck, as we call it, a glute squeeze, is actually going to help push that force into that junction. So this is where a broomstick will come handy. If you don't have a broomstick, pause the video, go grab yourself one, and then come back. And you're going to come up against the wall. It's good to have a mat to actually help support you. And so I'm going to stretch my left leg, and I'm going to put my foot, if you can see it, kind of up against the wall here, and I'm going to go into this lunge position. So that would be your stretch, right? So now we're going to start the timer, which I don't have, so I'm going to just pretend like I'm counting to 30 seconds. But I want you to just kind of use this broomstick to stabilize yourself. You can use your use a squat rack to also stabilize yourself. But the idea is squeezing that glute and sitting up nice and tall and feeling that stretch through that position. Now, the closer your heel is to your butt is going to make it more aggressive. So if I wanted to make it more aggressive, if you are stretching, please keep stretching. But you want to move your knee closer to the wall, and that's going to really create a lot more pressure on that hip flexor junction here as well. Now here's a little trick you can do. Alex, can you please roll me the fit ball? Beautiful. So we got a fit ball from my beautiful assistant, Alexandria. So if you want, you can also put a fit ball here, which actually gives you the position to I'll kind of point from side on, you kind of rest your ankle on that as well, which makes it a lot more forgiving on the ankle joint, and then you can kind of hold that as well. So we're pretty much done our 30-second stretch. So if you have been doing this for 30 seconds, nice work. We're going to move over to the right side now. If you haven't, just pause the video again and then just get your little stretch section in based on using the fit ball or whatever knee foot position you have, whatever suits you. So same thing again. We're going to swap sides now. I'm actually going to use this because it's actually super comfy, super forgiving. And then I've got my broomstick as my little stability mechanism. So I'm just going to count to 30 seconds in my head, and you're just going to chill there and go into a little meditation. So remember to keep those glutes nice and tight, to keep that pelvis tilted forward. The reason I have my eyes closed is just helps me keep me calm and relaxed and focused on my body and nothing else. Five more seconds to go. Beautiful, and relax there. So, Alex, can you catch that for me? Beautiful stuff. We're going to do a bit of spinal work and kind of do a bit of activation work now to really get our spine feeling good. So we're going to go into an exercise called the cat camel. So imagine your spine is like that slinky again. We're looking to really bend it one way, and then we're going to bend it the opposite way. So that's going into what we call spinal flexion and then spinal extension. And so remember, we're trying to really spread the bend across each vertebra of the spine, like a rainbow, an nice even bend. So what that's going to look like is as we go into the first position, which I believe is cat, is it cat position? Yep, cat position. So we're gonna like tuck, the chin's gonna tuck in, and then so is the tailbone. So imagine like when even though I said cat, imagine when a dog's in trouble, they kind of put their their tail between their hips, like, oh, I'm in trouble. So that's that position, which is gonna give you nice, like, deep flexion of the spine. And then you go lifting the chin up and also lifting the tailbone nice and up, again like a proud cat, even though this is the camel position. Is it camel position? It is, yeah. No, cow, there we go, cow position, cat, cow. We're gonna lift up like that. So here we go, we're just gonna bust out 5 reps. If you would like to do 10, pause the video and then do your 10 once I've done my 5. So here we go. So first one's gonna go in, and try and inhale during this, and then exhale. In. Out. In. And out. 2 to go. In. And out. 1 more. In. And out. Beautiful. So that is the cat cow. It's mixed up. Cat camel, cat cow. So that's your cat cow. Sorry, yeah, that's your cat cow. Then we're just going to go into a nice little glute bridge. We're just going to bust out 10 reps. This is going to be a super easy one. This is going to get our hips nice and on, and us just really feeling what our butt feels like. It's really important muscle. So pretty much your heel is going to be round about your fingertip distance, and then you're just going to kind of lift that tailbone up and then just squeeze your butt cheeks nice and high, and then back down. I'm going to squeeze up. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Squeeze. Beautiful. Then we're going to lift your knees up, so pretty much looking for a 90-degree angle at your hips and your knees. And then all you're going to do, depending how aggressive you are, if you want to be like me, you can kind of Josh Hardy and really try and touch the roof, or you can just kind of lift up like that, okay? But this is going to get our belly muscles working. So we're just going to do like 10 nice and easy pulses. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3. If you notice, I'm counting the other direction now. I don't know why. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Now, if you've got a watchful eye, you can even see that I myself am trembling, because people that don't do this exercise like very often, if it's new exercise, you will tremble. Even though I do lots of core training, I don't do specifically this exercise that much. Body's still not used to it, so it's okay to have those little tremors. So now we've pretty much got everything working. We're just going to put a bit of load through our spine now, so it's actually feeling like it actually can handle a bit of weight. So if you do have the kettlebell handy, I've got a 10 kilo here. Normally with my clients, you'll see me and my clients using a 20 kilo barbell. That's fine. If you are feeling a bit concerned about it, just use a broomstick, yeah? And so the goal for this, we're just going to do 2 reps, but imagine your spine is like a sleeping bag, so you're going to, or like a sleeping mat, sorry. You sit up nice and tall, and you're going to roll the spine, and then really crunch down, and we're trying to create as much flexion as we can through the spine, and really lengthen out the hamstrings and the calves, and then we're going to reverse that action as well. I'm going to do this with the kettlebell. So pretty much I would suggest, if you're watching this on your phone, putting this between your feet so you can kind of see the pace that I'm moving at. But here we go. I'm going to sit up tall. I'm going to start to roll down now. So nice and slow. The goal is vertebra by vertebra. My voice will sound a bit funny as I'm talking into the mic. Crunching the ribs, really trying to create as much flexion through the spine as we can. Keeping my chin tucked. Slight knee bend, that helps most people. Rolling all the way down. Now I'm actually just going to grab the bottom of that kettlebell just so I can get a bit more distance for me. Usually it helps to actually stand on a bench to get a bit more range as well. And then from there, I'm just going to roll all the way up, nice and slowly. All the way up. Up nice and tall. And then same again, rolling down, crunching down on the ribs.
rolling in, creating a much space for each vertebra of the spine, and a lot of length, keeping the chin tucked. And if you're not touching the ground yet, nice big exhale. I just had to move my head so I didn't blow into the mic. And then slowly rolling all the way back up. All the way back up until up nice and tall.
And voila, you should have a healthy spine. So that was a beautiful video. That was really nice for me to do with you guys as well. It's probably our longest mobility video that we've got, but the reason is because the spine is so important and the ribs are so important. So this is actually kind of a rushed version. So even if you are having a super stressful day, just whack this session out just to really get you feeling nice and loose and centered within yourself. It's really good to kind of feel nice and peaceful and calm. So thank you very much for watching Health and Happiness, and happy spinal health.